and we are live in Gallatin, Tennessee at Towne Square Records and Comics. Store owner Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, guys. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it a lot.
Chris, you have a long history in dealing with comic books. Give us the history. How did you get started into comic books?
Well, it's kind of interesting. When I was a kid, I crawled up in my grandmother's attic, found my dad's box of comics he had when he was a kid. Come down, showed them to him. He was excited. It was kind of funny. He was excited because there was some stuff in there that Santa Claus had brought him back years and years and years ago. I've still got most of those books. But that got me into comics. So by the time I was 11 years old, I was...
Roughly what year is this?
Well, let's see. 1971. So I was born in 65. So by the time I was 11 years old, I was doing shows. My dad, I couldn't even tote the long boxes. My dad had helped me tote them. They called me the kid, and now I am the oldest dealer in the room. But I've still been doing it. I've been doing it a long time. I love it, enjoy it. Literally, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I have a true passion for comics. I appreciate a comic. I'm a comic collector. You have to separate yourself from being a dealer and a collector. Most of them do. And they just look at a dollar value when they see a book. To me, I see a cool book, and I enjoy it, and I respect it, the art, the history, the lineage, the advertisements, all the things. I'm not a big fan of CGC graded books. I know it is the probably the wave of the future. It's a shame, though, people won't get to read them. I know you can go online and read them, but the enjoyment of opening a Golden Age book and smelling it and reading it is almost a thing of the past. I can see grading sports cards, but a comic book's made to be read. I read my Batman #2 and enjoyed it. There's something to be said for that.
Tell us about your history of owning comic book stores.
I was teaching karate in Hendersonville, and a store in Franklin, Tennessee, come available for sale. I bought it. It was called Outer Limits Comics. I bought it and went in, put a lot of my collection in it, kind of reluctantly, but it had to be done to bring in some inventory and some stock. 3 years later, we opened a store in Rivergate, that's there in the Target Shopping Center next to Funko Land, best location in the world. Then we opened one in Murfreesboro, and we opened a small one in Hendersonville. So at one time we had 4 stores, 53 employees, and 3 vans. Everything was going great. Thought this would never end. 9/11 happened. People realized they didn't have to have comic books. But in my eyes, they had to have something to eat. I couldn't afford to open a grocery store. They had to have somewhere to live. Buying houses and renting them takes 15 years before you ever see any significant profit. So I opened a car lot. They had to have something to drive. There was a lot of people going through a lot of hard times that it wasn't their own doing. It was just the way the economy went. And I'd done that for about 7 years. Enjoyed it, but still did comic book shows on the weekends occasionally. Still bought off eBay, still sold on eBay. To me, to watch the growth of the comic book industry the way it has done is amazing. It's changed so much. I remember the Comic Book Overstreet is now at 50 years old this year. Me and my dad bought the 3rd issue. My dad was actually a comic book advisor for Overstreet for a few years. He doesn't collect anymore, but he appreciates comics like I do. He taught me, I guess, the love of comics.
Tell us about your store, Towne Square Records and Comics. How long have you been in business? And every time we come here, it's so unique. What makes it unique?
We've been here to start with. We've been here 2.5 years. Me and my wife both were close to retiring from our regular jobs. We opened this up to have a kind of a retirement fund, FUN, and that's what it is. We do comics and records. Records have made a huge resurgence in the last 5 or 6 years. Vinyl is huge. We probably, it's about, our bids every month is about 50-50 as far as records and comic sales. Everybody's got a box of old records in their attic or basement or in their garage or closet or something, and they bring them into us. Sad thing about it is it's a lot of times it's Perry Como or something like that you can't get a lot out of. Comics, people don't bring a lot of that stuff in because comics years and years ago got out. The value of them, had got out a long time ago. There was a lot of money in them. I get calls every day. Hey, I've got some old comic books, and they'll bring them in. It'll be stuff from the 90s. in my book, that's really not old, but you don't look down your nose at them. I don't mean that at all, but to me, an old comic book, is in the 40s and 50s, maybe 60s. To make it unique, we combine the two things together. And we also do gaming too. So I don't think you could nowadays. I don't know that you could stay open in a town the size of Gallatin doing just comics or just records or just gaming. But with the three, we've been successful. We've had a lot of fun. We try to do shows as much as possible. We just got back yesterday from a show in Indianapolis on Sunday. We go to do shows, of course, obviously to make money, but to pick up new inventory for the store. I want to be a store that you can walk into, and if you like comics, we have something cool that you will like. If you like records, I want you to come in, and I want to hear that wow factor. I don't want you to come in and think that and which a lot of shops do this, they sell their best stuff on eBay because they can turn a buck quicker. And I know it's all about, you got to pay the bills, but I want people to be able to come in here and find something, be it comics, records, or gaming. Like I say, this is a labor of love. If I got paid by the hour, I'd probably make about $5 an hour, as much work as we put into this place. I don't know how many pieces of material we have in this place. There's a couple 100,000 records and comics, and I've touched every one of them.
Any really amazing records that have passed through the store in the past couple of years?
Yeah, we had the one that sticks out to me is probably the coolest one I've seen was the Velvet Underground, the Andy Warhol banana cover, an original that the peel wasn't peeled back. We kept it it was an expensive record. We kept it about 3 months. And there's a restaurant like 2 doors up from us, and these two ladies were walking by. They were from out of town. One of them, I could read her lips. She said, "Oh, my God, there's the freaking banana cover." And she come running in, and she said, "How much is that?" And I told her. She said, "I want it." And she said, "It is original." I said, "Yes, ma'am, it's original." She said, "I want it." She said, "My husband," it was funny, she said, "My husband has a tattoo on his arm of this record. That's how much he thinks of this record." But he did not have an original copy. Because original copies, real nice shape will bring $1,000. If you found one sealed, probably $5,000. But we sold that. It was not mint by no means, but it was a real first pressing, first edition Andy Warhol Velvet Underground with the banana peel not peeled. That's probably, we got a lot of more expensive records, but that's probably the coolest record we've ever had.
And you have the iconic collectible stuff too, like Beatles, Kiss, Rolling Stones.
Yeah, Beatles are probably the most collected group in the world. They were such marketing geniuses. They even released different albums and changed the songs around on the different pressings of the albums. They didn't do that. They done that so everybody would buy every pressing of it because it would be different. And obviously, everybody knows the butcher cover. They knew they wasn't going to get by with that when they put it on yesterday and today. Then they did that record is going. If you found what they call a first gen sealed butcher cover, $30,000, something like that. It's iconic, but there's just none out there. It's like the supply and demand is just not there. You can buy a first generation, or what they call a second generation, is one that has the sticker on it and somebody's peeled it off. You can buy those for about $750 to $850 in decent shape. And there's always people looking to buy them. I could sell 2 or 3 today if I had them. The Beatles were ingenious in their marketing records and the way they done it. The White Album, there's 10 different pressings to it for the first release. They made it a little bit different in other countries, so you know what country it comes from. You can just go on and on about the Beatles stuff. Of course, Stones always sells. Kiss fans. The bad thing about Kiss fans, they just about all have what they want. They have all there is. They bought it all up. You would think that Elvis would sell, but the people that are buying records nowadays, they're not looking for Elvis. They're looking for Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, of course the Beatles, and the old standbys, Journey, Foreigner, Rush, and things like that.
The soundtrack that you have playing in the store is awesome too. It's always just fun shopping here because you feel alive coming in.
Well, we try hard. We really, really do. I want everybody to feel comfortable when they come in. I think music kind of breaks it up, and it's a perfect. If I was 10-year-old and you asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, this is it. I'm a 55-year-old kid living a dream that literally, if you'd have asked me 45 years ago what I want to be and I grew up, owning a comic book and record store would have been perfect. I grew up with the parents that took me to every concert in the world, so I got to see a lot of cool bands. Grew up during a cool time that nowadays kids, I know there's new bands coming around, but you can't compare some of the groups nowadays to the Stones, which I know the Stones are still touring, but I seen the Stones in Fulton County Stadium in 1976 when Hell's Angels did security for them, and Rod Stewart warmed up for them. Those days are gone. You just can't replace those things. I seen Janis Joplin one time at Centennial Park for free at a free concert. They announced on the radio back when KDF was still around, was a rock station. They announced that Janis Joplin and the Big Brother and the Holding Company were going to be playing Centennial Park. So me, my mom, and Dad, we loaded up and got there just as fast as we could. We were right on the corner of the stage, and I got to watch Janis Joplin. There's not a lot of people who can say they've done that.
What about comic books? Any fantastic comics that have passed through these doors?
Oh, I've had so many. It is. Right now I've got a Superman #4. I think that's a great book. I mean, that's a cool book. That's a piece of history. We're talking about the spring of 1940. Can you imagine this was before World War II. The whole idea, of how many of those books were made to think that they still exist 80 years later is mind-boggling. I've got a Fantastic Four #2. We've got a couple $100,000 worth of key books. I love comics. I love getting them. I love buying them. I love trading for them. And it almost hurts to sell something that cool because it becomes almost like a part of you if you really enjoy comics.
Every time we come in, the wall that has the display of your key issues changes so often. So obviously, you're getting good business off of the deep collection that you have.
Yeah, we really do. People know they can come here and find something. We go to other shops, and when we go to other states and we do shows, or when we go on vacation or something, we'll go in the comic book stores, and they might have one or two books over $100, and most of the time what they have up on the wall is stuff that's the hot book that was made 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, and to me, this store is kind of very much a reflection of me. That I want to be that I would want to walk into, maybe not impressed, but know that I could come here and find something. We just had a little boy that come in here a few minutes ago. Today was his 9th birthday, so we done a special deal for him because it was his 9th birthday, and he had saved his money from his birthday party that they had yesterday for him. And his dad told me that this is a place he wanted to come spend his birthday money. That means a lot. One of the most ultimate compliments we get. Gallatin's a really cool town. It's a great square. The chamber, the small business, all this stuff, they really, really help everybody out on the square. But the ultimate compliment that somebody can pay, if they have family members or friends come here from out of town, they'll bring them in the shop to show them the store, because they think it's cool. And I appreciate that. I respect that. To me, that is, like I say, the ultimate compliment you can do. I just want to let everybody know we really appreciate that.
So we talked about records, we talked about comics. What about gaming? I remember you started gaming years ago out in Outer Limits, Franklin, and you got some history with one of the little kids there that grew up.
Yeah, it was funny. He is first off, when I bought Outer Limits, I had a guy working for me, and he was dead set on the store was going to be a comic book store, which it was. But I sit there for the first day after I bought it, done nothing but sit there and watch people come in and listen to what they were asking for, and watching his interaction with people, and just kind of focusing on what the plan was. You got to have in anything, you got to have a plan. And people come in, they were asking for Pokemon, and at that time, Star Wars games and Star Trek games and Magic the Gathering. He said, "We don't carry those. We're a comic book store." So after about the third person, I walked up to him and I asked him, I said, "Why are we not selling that?" He said, "Well, we're a comic book store." I said, "No, son, we're in business." I said, "If we can make money on it and it's legal, we're going to sell it." So I went and spent a couple $1,000s on boxes of Magic, Pokemon, Star Wars, and Star Trek, and the rest is history. The cool thing about the games, they make new sets. Magic's been going for 27 years. They come out with about 4 to 5 new sets every year. The game's ever changing. But one of the cool things the other day, a guy come in, 6'3", 6'4", police uniform, head shaved. I don't want to call his name because he might not want me to. I don't know. But anyway, he come in and he looked at me a minute and he said, "I know who you are." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are." He said, "You're Chris." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You used to own Outer Limits in Franklin." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you were my comic shop when I was a kid." And he had his son with him that was about 6 or 7. Introduced his son to me. Of course, when I seen him, he was 10, 12-year-old. He's grown up. Now the second generation is coming around.
But you started going to your store because of Pokemon, right?
Yes, he started going to the store to play Pokemon. And now he's a serious comic book collector. He actually bought a Superman 10 off of us 2 weeks ago. Wow. So it's a cool story. Like I say, he brings his son in here.
This has turned into a multi-generational family operation with regards to the guests who come here.
Oh yeah, very much so. And it's really funny. I look back and think I hadn't thought about it till just now. I know several people that have got married that have met through the stores. They met here in the stores, hanging out, playing games, or playing card games, or just coming in buying comics and anime, or whatever it be, records or whatever. But I know several couples that have met in the store, wound up, got married, and now they have kids. And it's just none of that's to do with me. It's just the situation. But it's cool that it's people that like this kind of stuff instill what they want to their kids. They introduce it to their children to give them a chance to see if they like it. One thing I'd like to point out, my dad taught me at an early age that stuff is only worth what you can get out of it. You can throw a guide away. The guide doesn't matter. I do look at people like Bob Overstreet and think how amazing it is that they could come out with a price guide. There was no internet in 1970 when the first price guide come out. There was no, he had to do all this, all the titles, how many numbers in the set. That had to be a huge undertaking. But nowadays, the guide is nothing but a guide as far as telling you the first appearance of somebody, the date it was made or something like that. The real guide of anything is what it will bring. And another thing I've noticed, and I've noticed it with several generations, people want what they had when they were a kid. If they bought Star Wars toys when they were 8, 9, 10-year-old, now they're, now they're 45 to 50-year-old, and they're buying Star Wars toys again because they want what they had when they was a kid or what they couldn't have when they was a kid. They couldn't find a Yak Face, or they couldn't find a 12-inch IG-88 from the first set. And then you find I find the old guys that come in that liked Western movies, watch Westerns on Saturdays at the theaters, or they watch Westerns on, some of the channels nowadays. We have Western channels and some of the channels that Grit and things like that show a lot of Westerns. These guys come in and they buy old Western comics because that's what they liked when they were a kid. Well, it's still fun. We've just grown a little older. But what we enjoyed as a kid is still just as much fun as it always was. And I think that's why some people collect Hot Wheels. I mean, some women collect Barbies. I guess there's some men that collect Barbies. That's what they have when they was a kid. Those are precious times.
And you do have toys here, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of toys. We try to keep new stuff stock coming in constantly. That's an ever-changing battle because we're only 2,200 square feet, so we have to rotate. We have to we have to have stuff to sell, but we can't have this. If it doesn't sell pretty quick, we got to mark it down to where it does sell to make room for stuff that will sell. And we've been very fortunate. People bring us stuff in, or we buy through. We got distributors we buy through, and we have people. Like I said, went to a show this weekend, and I bought probably a couple hundred toys. And I'll be able to sell them cheaper than Walmart or anywhere you can because I bought so many.
We first met you at a comic book convention in Atlanta. How important is it for your operation to buy and sell at cons?
Well, conventions are a great way to buy, and I'll be glad when everything gets back on track where we can all start going to them again. For example, if I can't sell something here in the store, I might take it to the show and sell it to somebody that is in another part of the world or another part of the country, the United States, that can sell it there. It may be hot there. I might not can sell Transformers here, but they'll sell great in Atlanta, and vice versa. There may be something that we can swap out that'll benefit both of us. Or you can find somebody that's just wanting to get out of, they're just wanting to get out of toys, or they're sold their store, and they're you just never know what you'll find at conventions. I get more excited when I see people walk in with a box of stuff than I do when they walk in empty-handed. Because every day it's like a comic book show here or like a show here. They bring stuff in to sell to me because either they need the money, they don't need it anymore. I had one bring in a stack of records this morning. She really didn't care. I mean, she was going to give them to me if I didn't buy them. I paid her for them, but she just wanted rid of them. But she said she's glad they're going to go to a good home. And that's kind of what we do, is we find, the old saying goes, one man's trash, the other man's treasure. That's kind of the way it is sometimes.
Speaking of conventions and your history with conventions, you've actually brought the convention experience to your store. Explain to us what your comic and toy once-a-month show is like.
Well, it actually works great. You can't find anywhere that'll rent you a venue right now because the state is on them so much. We've checked around. Davidson County, of course, is pretty much just shut down for conventions and stuff. So what I done was we done a small show. We brought in 5 dealers. Everybody wore masks. We used hand sanitizer. We had hand sanitizer stations coming in and hand sanitizer stations going out. Every dealer had hand sanitizer at their booth where you could look at. They could use before they looked at their merchandise and after. We played it safe. We played it smart. We tried to spread people out as much as possible. The dealers loved it. We just had 5 dealers, and that's all I wanted. And we're going to swap up every month and have different dealers because there's people literally calling us every day. I mean, I've had a phone call this morning from a dealer that's wanting to do the next show. And I had to tell him, I said, we're sold out, but I'll put you in for the next one. We're going to do it every month. It's free to get in, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, we bring different dealers in every time, so you're going to see different stuff. And it's a way for us to at least get out. I mean, this thing's bad. There's no question about that. I mean, a lot of people, it's changed the world, and who knows what it's going to be like when it's all done. But anyway, we can't quit living. We can't crawl under a rock and just not live. We have to be smart. We have to use hand sanitizer. You don't shake hands. You don't get close to people you don't know, or you don't get close to people, period, But I just can't see crawling under a rock. I can't believe that's the answer either. So
we had a blast. I mean, it fixed our confix.
Yeah, that's what I had a lot of people say that. We literally had over 500 people that day, throughout the day. It was funny. We were supposed to open. We opened up at 8 o'clock for the dealers to load in, and people got to slipping in. We didn't lock the doors. I didn't think about it. And by 9 o'clock, there was about 35 to 40 people in here. And then by 10, there was about 75 people in here, in and out. We have costume contests. There's people that are missing that. They're used to going to cons and dressing up, and that's what they like doing. And I'm proud to help them out. I'm not looking to get rich. I'm sure not looking to cheat anybody. Like that old Aerosmith song, Steven Tyler says, life's a journey, not a destination. And I really believe that. I really believe we can't just crawl under a rock and die. Okay, the next one we've got coming up is September 5th, guys. We rented the building. We've rented a building the building next door to us is empty. It's 3,000 square feet. I've got 18 different dealers coming from 4 different states. It's free to get in. I'll promise you, It will be more fun than we've had in a long time. Gallatin's never seen anything like this. There's going to be people, we got a costume contest. First place is going to get $100. Second place is going to get 25. We've got dealers we got dealers that's bringing anime. We got dealers that are bringing Golden Age, Silver Age comics. We got one of the largest dealers in the United States is going to be here. One of the best dealers from anywhere is going to be here from Atlanta. There's going to be toys. There's going to be something for everybody. It's free to come to. We hope all y'all come out. We're working with some of the businesses on the square to get special deals on like restaurants and things. I really look forward to it. I hope it's a huge success. I hope everybody has fun. The dealers are excited because they're not getting to do a lot of shows. I'm like that 10-year-old kid again. This is helping fill that void that we all miss from doing shows.
And you're going to keep doing this first Saturday of every month or something similar to it?
Yes. First Saturday of the month, every month. We'll do something. We're going to do the next one we will do inside the store. We'll have five new dealers. They'll all be bringing different stuff. They'll all be either serious comic book or toy dealers or anime dealers. I've got a couple of artists that are asking about setting up. We're going to go. The only thing I can't do is I can't make this building any bigger than it is. So we still have to operate. But it was so cool. And I'm not exaggerating when I say 500 people. We had at least 500 people. And at least 100 of them come to me personally and thanked me for having the show. And I thank them for showing up.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our Facebook group. Live long, and may the force be with you. Nanu Nanu.